Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of my first RC painting and airbrushing tutorial. Again, this is episode 2. If you're just now watching this and wondering where episode 1 is, you can find it on my channel or in the description. I'll have a link for you to be able to trace to that. But in this particular episode here, we're going to finish taping off the body, and then we're going to go ahead and apply the first base coat. In this circumstance, it's going to be white. And I'm going to do some of the red detailing, some of the red paint on the body. And no airbrushing just yet. In this episode, this is just going to feature some, rattle can painting, painting process. So, but we're almost to the airbrushing aspect of this series as well. And again, guys, this is a 5-episode series. This is episode 2. The links are in the bottom for the rest of the episode. So if you're coming in and seeing this and you're going, whoa, I'm out of order, they're all up. They're all ready for you to view. Back out and check them out in order. If that's something you're interested in doing. But with that said, let's get right to it. Okay guys, so now I got all the masking laid for the paint job. So, well, all the masking I cut. I'm still going to do some more masking. In fact, you may look at this and go, that's kind of plain right now. Well, I got to finish freehanding the design. But as you can see, we got the Ghostbusters logo, got my number, who you're gonna call. We got the one of my sponsors on here, Sticky Icky, which, like I said, I'm gonna paint this like a bright green to be kind of like Slimer from the movie. And then have my other sponsor, Moonville RC and Hobby. Ghostbusters on the hood, numbers on the roof, and then of course my YouTube channel on the rear deck lid. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change it up a little bit from the movie. In the movie, the car is solid white with a red stripe that goes down the side and kind of flares out, matches the old body style of that car that's in the film. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to follow this grill line and come up and around, and that'll be my red stripe going back, and then the hood and the roof and probably the deck lid here will be black with the red stripe like the movie, and the rest of the car will be white like the movie. And one reason why I'm going to do that is I haven't fully made up my mind what color I'm going to use yet, but I'm thinking about doing realistic flames on the hood. I think it'd be a cool little touch here to come up off the Ghostbusters and do like some realistic flames coming up the side here. Maybe get a little bit in here. Be kind of hard because of the grill. Try to match the contour of the body, so I'm thinking maybe coming up the sides, maybe in a little here, maybe this will be the stripe, I don't know. Gonna do something like that. So let me show you the other one. This is the Super Street. And again, you saw how that was kind of milky clear, the clear plastic you probably noticed earlier. But this has got a film on it too, but this is perfectly clear, a lot easier to deal with. So what we got here is, once again, who you're gonna call, Ghostbusters logo, my number. I scaled it down. I made them a little bit smaller because I wanted the logo to pop more than the number this time, but you'll be able to see it. Got our little Sticky Icky sponsorship ghost again. Once again, gonna do Slimer green. JB Trickle Studio YouTube for my channel. Went kind of old school on the roof this time. I was like, you know what would be cool? Let's do the small numbers in the corners. And I did that for a couple of reasons. One, the roof on this body, they got these indentions in here, and trying to get a big number in here. I have done it before, but it can be a pain in the butt. But trying to get it inside of here and lay flat and work out without it getting any kind of bubbles or lifting is a pain. So I thought maybe we'll do old school, do the roof numbers smaller in 2 corners. Main sponsor, Moonville RC and Hobby, and then of course Ghostbusters on the front. And normally, even on my late model bodies, you probably know some of the pictures I've done, I usually put headlight and grills on them, but I'm not going to do it to this one, because for me to get the Ghostbusters on here big enough for you to be able to read it, it kind of took up the area you would normally have your headlight or grill. I know I could probably put something, here or here but it wouldn't look good in my opinion. So there's not going to be any headlights or grill on this particular body, but that's okay, because you're going to get to see me airbrush it on the Cadillac, the Super Street body. If you noticed, I've got the files for them, but I simply just forgot to cut it. But I didn't put any masking in here yet, and that is because I've got to get the I've got to cut the masking for it. I'm not going to use the stickers. I am going to paint that. Just finished the taping process and finally decided a kind of a paint scheme layout I was going to do on these, and I'll give you kind of a rundown. And I hope you guys are enjoying this. And let me tell you something, whenever you're watching this video, it makes the process look like it's a lot faster than it is. And this can be a very long process, but if you want a you know, all painted body, that's, you know, this is part of the deal. And this is one reason too why whenever I paint a body for someone, it costs what it does, because there is a lot of time and a lot of work that goes into this. But as you can see, actually it's all taped off on the through the roof. I didn't put the window mask in yet, just because I was going to lay down some of my base first, and then whenever I pull all that tape up, then I'll mask it. But essentially what we're going to have going on with this car is the nose section through here. I'll let you see some of the pinstriping vinyl in there. So the nose section all through here is going to be red, and then the red is going to carry on down the sides and to the back. And then the vinyl pinstriping you see, that's going to be a metallic blue. So the hood and the roof and the deck lid is going to be black, and the sides and everything else is going to be white. I know that's a little different than the Ghostbusters Ecto-1 or Ghostbusters Mobile, whatever you want to call it. I know it's a little different, but again, I still want it to be a race car, but, you know, look like the Ghostbusters car too. So kind of doing my own little touch on it. And I still think one reason why I'm going to do black is I think I'm going to go ahead and drop some of those realistic flames on here. Again, I don't know if I'm going to do green or blue. I'm thinking blue would look good. I don't know if I'm just going to keep it on the hood or if I'll put some on the roof. I'm not sure, but we'll figure that out. So that's the layout for this one. And then for the Super Street, similar but a little different. I try to come up with something that fits the body, the natural body lines of the car. Sometimes if you get something that just flows like that, it's really good. But kind of a similar situation here. So on this car, the roof, the deck lid, and the sides are going to be white like the Ecto-1. This section here that you see taped off around the windows, the entire hood, all of this is going to be black. And again, that's going to be so I can do some realistic flames coming up the sides here off the hood. And then there's going to be a section here, the red on this one is actually going to follow around with this. Instead of it going all the way back on the other car, it's just going to be like a front nose. And I'm just kind of following the headlight line and then the hood line. So the red's going to come to a point here and then wrap around the nose. So that'll be pretty cool. And then hopefully you'll be able to see, you know, I got the masking in there of the headlight mask and the grill mask and all that stuff. So it should be pretty cool. So again, this whole section through here is going to be red now, with the blue pinstriping and the overall white car. Not sure what color I'm going to do the numbers in yet. I usually do my numbers in red and yellow or black and gold or red and gold or something like that. But since I am going to follow a color theme here off the Ghostbusters, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to use yet, but we'll figure that out later. But also, one more thing I want to talk to you about. I am going to drop the white first. A lot of your RC painters will tell you always paint your darker colors first, and they are 100% correct. However, the way I laid out this car, I'm going to drop the white first. I don't always do that. A lot of times I do a lot of, or most of my dark colors first. The reason I'm not here is because the way I laid this out and the layering of some things, I'm just like, you know what, it's going to be much easier to lay white first. I've laid white first on several other bodies. I've painted, gosh, like I said before, hundreds and hundreds of bodies over the years. So I kind of know, and I don't mean to sound big-headed whenever I say that, but I kind of know just from experience how much it's going to take for that white to cover before I hit it with another color, so there's no bleed through. So if you're, I do recommend, especially if you're new with no RC body painting experience at all, I do recommend dropping your dark colors first and ending with your lightest colors. That'll help with bleed throughs. That'll help if you get something not as heavy as you thought you should have in one area, and not necessarily a bleed through, but there's a little bit of a color fade or whatever. So I do recommend doing your dark colors first. However, I'm not doing that on this one. I'm going to go ahead and hit white. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit white, I'm going to hit the red, and then I'm going to have to hit the black, because I wanted to before I black this out, I wanted to do the airbrushing. So the airbrush, I made it kind of the middle step of this body, because once the airbrushing's done, then I'm going to have to do all the fine detailing and all this work. And it's kind of cool you guys are getting to join me whenever I'm doing two bodies at once. Between staying busy with the racing itself, of course my family, I got to thank them for allowing me to do this too. Between that, YouTube, and painting some bodies, I haven't had a lot of time to get me another couple bodies ready, so I decided to do this. Thought it'd be really cool, really fun. But so all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here, and then whenever I come back, you're gonna see it with the first coat of paint on. Okay guys, just want to go over something real quick too, because I'm not going to show you the whole actual painting process, because I mean, who wants to see me actually lay the paint unless it's coming from airbrush, because I'm just rattle canning the base coat. But I did want to go over, you know, whenever you hear people say, whenever you're spray painting out of a can or whatever, stay so many inches away from the body. That does play some effect here too, but one of the big things I want you to know is that it varies. Because sometimes with contours of bodies, you got to get in there a little higher. If you're just fogging in a spot that was a little light, you need to be further away. The biggest thing I can tell you is don't be right up on it. I mean, don't be spraying like, you know, if you're getting ready to paint the body, you don't want to be have the nozzle this close to it. You know, get some distance, you know, get it on there. And one of the other biggest tips I can give you for painting RC bodies, several light coats will always look better than just trying to get one heavy coat on there. Several light coats will give you better coverage. Several light coats are just going to naturally look better. You're not going to have paint runs. So always remember that. Like, I'm probably going to do 4 light coats on this. Normally I would only do 2 or 3. But the reason I'm going to do likely 4 is because since I'm doing white first, I want to make sure we get good coverage. So just keep that in mind. I wanted to go over that real quick. But whenever I start the airbrushing process, that's whenever I'm actually going to film part of the painting. So let me go get the base coats on, and I'll be back here shortly. Hey again, everyone. So I've got the base coat on, the base white coat on both cars. Did about, like I said, 4 light coats. So it should be good to go for the next color layer to hit. And one thing I like to do, I'm not sure if it's going to show on camera too much, I'm going to try to keep the light out of it, but if you really want to know if you've got enough white before you go to a darker color, and like I said, I do not recommend painting it in the order I did it because of the order that I wanted to layer this car between base coats and having to use the airbrush and everything. And I've done several bodies before and have had, you know, great success about not bleeding through on white whenever I do it. But if you're a beginner, I recommend you doing the black first, then your red and white, and so on. But one thing that I've gotten what I do to kind of help check, make sure it's thick enough, is don't let the light get on it. And there is a little bit of light, so you may see when I'm trying to tell you what you're looking for. But I run my hand through there. And if you don't see any movement, that should be good. And it looks like I can see my finger a little bit. But again, that's because of the lighting. I've got lighting coming in behind me and above me. I've got the blinds open so the sun's shining in. But I can pretty much tell this is more than enough and will keep any color from bleeding through. So what I'm getting ready to do now is unwrap the next layer so I can lay the red. And then we'll back that with some more white. And then we'll be ready to do some airbrushing later. So let me get that going, and I'll check back in with you shortly. I'm ready for the next step. As you can see on the bodies, but they both look a little different again, but that's because of the color of the clear film. But what we're doing here is we're getting ready to do the next step, which in this case is red. I've pulled the trim off my numbers. I've pulled the anti-ghost symbol off the Ghostbusters logo. And as you can see, the striping and the nose area, that is going to be red. Much like on this body, same thing. We've got the pulled everything off that's going to be red, including the roof number, my YouTube channel logo, and then the front end, which is also going to be red, and again kind of matches the contour of the body there. So we're getting ready to go red. I'm gonna lay that down and come back again for the next step. Alrighty guys, so as you can see now, I got everything, those layers pulled off that we talked about, and I'm getting the red laid down again. And as I talked about several times already, and I'm sorry to keep repeating myself, but just in case you're asking yourself, as you can see here and versus here, the red is brighter. Again, that's because the clear film on this body is milky, where this one is perfectly clear. But with that said, as you can see, we got the white base done. There's been no bleed through. The red is staying behind the white as it's supposed to. There's a couple spots here and there that almost looks like it bled through, but it's not. That's just where I put some masking tape behind the ghost area there, because I'm going to have to do the black outline on the ghost later, then airbrush him in as well. But anyway, you can see the Ghostbuster logo starting to come in. The number outlines are there. And then I'm going to hold the camera up, and you can see kind of the design I went with on the late model here. So we've got the red nose that wraps around to a stripe all the way back. The stripe, you know, is very much like how the movie car is, but it's on the side. But I put it up here. Once again, whenever I tape off my bodies, I tend to try to follow the contour of the car if I can. Sometimes it's best not to try to force something. It's just best to follow the body lines. And then same thing with the Super Street. Did a similar deal here. The nose is going to be red, but the red does not go all the way back. It ends here, and then I'm going to have some blue there. But I want to show you something else, and this is a key factor to painting. So I'm going to do one more coat of red on both bodies, and it's going to be ready to back. Now, these reds, these metallic colors, candy colors, things like that, they're more of a translucent color. So if I don't back this red with a backing paint, it could be, in this case, I would use like a white or silver. I'm going to use a white. But if you don't back it with something, it's going to bleed through. And again, that's because these metallics and candies and these various different colors are still translucent. So if I was to try to lay down my black or blue next, that red is going to really darken. So if we want it to stay that bright, vibrant red like it is, we need to back it with white. So if I flip it over, you'll see, you know, the red spray. All right. So the next step is, after I get one more coat of red down, I'm going to back all this with white. That'll seal the red off. That'll keep the red nice and bright, and that'll make it prepared for the next color. Once you back it, you know, your other colors won't bleed through. But don't forget to give your bodies plenty of time between coats of paint to dry. You can spray on top of something that's still a little tack, but you don't want to be trying to peel the masks off while the paint's still wet, because it'll usually want to lift a little bit. So I don't wait for it to be cured 100%, but I make sure that, you know, you can touch it. Then I'll peel that next section of masking off. So we're gonna, all the text, all the logos and everything is masked. The airbrushing is going to come in. I'm thinking about detailing the ghost a little bit, maybe adding just a little bit of blue on them to represent like shading or shadowing. And then again, we're going to airbrush some, I'm thinking about doing realistic flames. Still haven't decided on the color yet. Blue or green, that's all I know. We're going to figure it out when we get to that point. But I want to go over that with you. And again, I'll get back with you shortly. Alrighty guys, just want to check in with you again. and show you I completed the next step, which was to put the backing paint on the red. It may be hard to tell on the camera, but the red is a lot more bright now. That's because I did use white as a backing. I just want to show you something else too. I'm not sure how it's showing up, but there's some white overspray here. That's what this protective film is, overspray film. Don't pull that off unless you're doing one of two things. For some reason you're painting the outside of the body, or you're done. Those are the only two times you should pull that overspray film off. And like I said, 99% of all bodies have some form of protective film, overspray film on it. And most of them you can either tell because they're milky white like this, or they have a label that's on the body. But I also wanted to show you real quick too, whenever you're doing rattle cans, especially if you're doing a bigger body, a much bigger surface, I like to use one of the pistol grip sprayers. Okay, this one's dirty, it's well used, but it helps save your finger a lot. Not to mention whenever you can use the trigger, because I use this anytime I'm painting a quarter scale. I use this a lot of times if I'm even painting one of the Super Street bodies for the slash base, because these are basically 8 scale. I'm using this because if you don't, your finger's going to cramp up and just hurt later. You can see some spray on my finger. I was doing the finger spray, and then I was like, let's go to this. But these are convenient. Several different manufacturers sell these. I recommend it if you do a lot of painting or painting a big body. But it's really neat. Literally all you do is just squeeze these little things right here, get your can in there, then you can rotate the nozzle, and then you're good to go. But wanted to show you that, and also wanted to just show you what I meant by, putting the backing paint on the red. If you look in here now, you can see that I went in and hit white on top of the red, and that's going to seal the red, keep the red very bright and vibrant, and now I can hit a dark color. It's not going to bleed through. Now you may ask yourself, that looks kind of thin. Well, it is. It was a couple quick coats, and the reason being is it don't have to be solid. You just need to get something on the back of that red in a lighter tone that will make it pop, keep the bright color. And your two most common backing colors are going to be white and silver. And I use them both. I'll generally back my candy colors, sometimes even metallic colors, in silver. This is a metallic red that I'm doing here, but I went ahead and backed with white because I just wanted it to be a really bright color, because since I'm going to be doing like the roof line on both bodies, the hood and the parts of the roof in black, I wanted some bright colors so you can see it on the track. Some people like just doing a straight up black body, and that's fine if you can see it well. We're doing a lot of night racing here for Dirt Oval, so all black body for me. I like to have something bright and colorful, that way I can keep a good eye on it on the track. All the tracks are well lit, but that's just a thing of mine. I like black. Black race cars are awesome looking to me, but I tend to throw a lot of bright colors on there too, just for visibility. But so that step's complete. I'm going to tell you what the next step is, and then you'll see whenever we cut back in. At this point here, I'm going to remove all this tape, and on this body I'm going to go ahead and get my window masks in, and then on this one I'm going to pull all the tape off again as well, which is on the hood, all the hood, and this section through here on the roof. The actual roof is white, the rear deck lid is white. So each body is going to be slightly different, but again, it's because I wanted to follow more of the contour of the body itself. It looks clean that way in my opinion. So again, I'm going to remove the tape off both bodies, and then I'm going to take a Sharpie marker, and I'm going to draw where I want my flames to go, and I'll go into more detail about that whenever we get to that step. But again, let me get all that work done, and we'll cut back in here shortly. Alright everyone, that sums it up for episode 2 in this 5 video series. To give you another recap here, this video we pretty much, once we finished getting all the vinyl laid, had to go through a taping process, got the body taped off, finished the overall design of the body between using some pinstriping material and taping material. And of course, we got our base coat laid down. And in this case, like I told you in the video, you might want to lay your dark colors first if you're just now starting out and doing this. And then we also got our red on. So the third video in the series should be up and ready for your viewing as well if you are ready to move on. And again, guys, I greatly appreciate it, and I'll catch you here shortly.